Hey, what's up everybody? Did you know that 96,000 people move to Las Vegas every single year? The question is why? Well, due to the Fed's interest rate hikes have increased the cost of living for many Americans across the country. Americans are now looking to relocate to Las Vegas because of no state income tax, low unemployment, low cost of living, and affordability for housing. We're also the entertainment capital of the world. So if you are thinking about relocating to Las Vegas, we would like to offer you a free Southern Nevada market report and a relocation guide. All you have to do is click on that link below to claim yours today.
All right, guys, welcome back to the LV Home Experts podcast. So today I got a very special guest, good friend of mine, Vlad. He does a lot of flips here in Las Vegas. So we're going to get a perspective on the housing market on the flip side and what's going on. So Vlad, how's everything going, bud?
Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
I mean, it's been a while since I seen you. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me make this adjustment real quick. I didn't realize how tall you were, dude.
Yeah. I'm like cut off right now.
Yeah, you're like cut off right now.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Like I said, man, I haven't seen you for some time. I think the last time I seen you, was that one of those flip properties that you had?
Yeah, it was a little while back, probably like 2 years ago when we did.
Damn, it's been that long?
Yeah.
But we have stayed in communication through.
No, for sure. Social media. Yeah. We were close on a couple deals that we were working like some luxury stuff. So
you know what's crazy is I always come to you and ask you like what's going on in the market. And I think this is important from a flip perspective because as an agent, I really do have a pulse on the ground, but you are like literally in the trenches, right?
Right.
Of, rehabbing the home, by the time you put it on the market, if offers are literally coming in, how many showings and stuff like that.
Right.
Can I get your perspective of the market? Like, what do you think is happening right now in the marketplace?
Yeah. So right now, as of probably like 3-4 weeks ago, I think showings slowed down a ton. Offers slow down a ton, and that's across the board for your entry level stuff, and then some a little bit higher end stuff. We don't really do anything high end like luxury. So
other than the one in Seven Hills, which is you hit a damn home run on that one.
No, we did good on that one. Yeah,
dude, I was jealous, bro. I was like, man, I wish I would have got something like that. But
no, me and Tyler did it. That was a good flip. So yeah, besides that one, we don't really do too much luxury. It just fluctuates a lot, based on market conditions. So just don't love it. A little stressful. So we do more entry level stuff, but yeah, everything kind of slowed down the past like 3-4 weeks. Okay. And stuff's been sitting. And honestly, I mean, I think partially it's to do with the election, partially it's to do with the slowdown in the market, partially it's just, interest rates still aren't exactly super low. So all of that in conjunction, mostly election in my opinion, has been what's kind of slowed things down. So it's going to be interesting to see now that the election's over, what happens the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Now
you mentioned entry level. What's entry level?
I mean, for me, entry level is probably anything under like 400,000. Okay. That's probably going to be your entry level house, 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 2-bath. Stuff like that. That's usually entry level, and that stuff is the first to, essentially get the most traction because most people, what they can afford that. Moving up from renting, they're probably buying something 1,000 to 1,500 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath. So that's entry into the housing market for a house.
And that's why I wanted to bring you on because you really have the pulse. You know what I mean, as far as the housing market, because if we take a look at the median price point right, I'm sorry, the median price point right now for a home is about $485,000 as of today. Okay. The lower that you go on the price point, right? And if we take a look at the average household income here, is like less than like 75,000 or something like that. Basically, that's kind of like where you can afford, and that's where a majority of your pool of buyers are.
Right.
And this is the reason, like I said, I'm bringing you on the show is because you know what is going on. And if somebody's going to buy, that's kind of like majority of your buyers, right?
Right.
And you were saying that you're not having as many showings. Like, when you say that, are you saying that you're only having like 1 or 2 showings on a property?
It really depends. I mean, we're still getting showings, but we're just not getting as many. You know, like when we list it, I could tell when a property is going to go fast because, you know, when the market's hot, you list it and you got showing after showing after showing. You don't need you may not necessarily need 5 offers day one, but you're going to start getting showings that first week. Now, when it's, you know, like this, maybe we'll get 1 showing on day 3, then we'll get 1 showing on day 5, 2 showings on day 7, then it'll die down to no showings for the next 3-4 days. That's what I would consider slow. And obviously low showings, no offers from those showings. There's a lot more, you know, for them to kind of choose from in that entry level because there's a lot of stuff sitting. I don't necessarily think it's like, obviously the inventory is not sky high like it was end of 2022. I think it's simply just less buyers buying because they're feeling at this point, waiting for their election. They were just waiting on a lot of uncertainty. Like, let me just kind of play it out. You know, it's the end of the year anyways. I'll just buy it next year. I'll figure out what's going on.
Do you feel like buyers are now being a little bit more picky and trying to get as much as money or trying to get as much as house they can for their money? Because that's how I kind of feel like, you know, if I'm working with a buyer $600,000, they want to look at everything at $600,000. They want to kind of like compare apples to apples,
right?
As far as what can my money actually get me, right? Because I'm starting to realize that a lot of these buyers, they'll look at a home and they're like, it kind of has some upgrades, but this one is a little bit newer. I mean, do you kind of get that feeling or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you're always going to have buyers. I think obviously when the market's hot, buyers are just kind of like, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, you know, I'll make that work, you know, but when there's even like multiple model matches, sometimes you'll have sitting like, you know, oh, this one's 2580 square feet. There's 3 2580s sitting on the market. They're comparing them like, well, this one has a little bit bigger lot, but this one's more upgraded. So you've really got to think about what the buyer is going to want. And like for us flipping, I mean, we got to figure out, okay, well, when we list this, there's probably going to be competition. How can we do better than them? Like if there's already, like, for example, we're in mid renovation, we're going to finish in about 6-7 weeks, and there's 2 other ones on the market. Well, how do we distinguish ourselves from those 2? Because the buyer that's buying in this area, they're going to go and they're going to say, well, what makes this one any different? You know, and that's the kind of thing we kind of look for. It's like, well, what can we do a little bit different? Whether it's, you know, maybe not upgrading it as much sometimes and pricing it less.
Yeah, that's
sometimes a strategy, or sometimes it's upgrading it more than the comps and essentially pricing it the same. So it's like you're getting more bang for your buck. There's really kind of different things that we play around with.
So it's kind of a case-by-case basis, but it almost sounds like it could be a little bit dangerous where you have a set comp, you have a set target price of, you know, after the repair value, but another property comes in and it's in pretty good condition, let's just say, but they have really set the comps by dropping it so low, and you've already forecast, hey, we're going to price it at this price point, and you already selected all the materials. Do you make the adjustments from there? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, for us, we'll sometimes make an adjustment based off it, but when we buy, we try to buy carefully. So like if I'm like, okay, well, if this corrects by, you know, 10, 15,000 in our price ranges that we play with, obviously if you're higher price points, sometimes it could be a big drop. And that's the reason we don't do those higher price points a lot of the times, especially in a slower market. But, you know, let's say we're thinking 370, all of a sudden there's a comp that sells 360, they're upgraded. You know, we're not really going to be like too worried about it. We'll sell it for the 360 and just call it is what it is. You know, at that point, we've got to keep the inventory moving. It's going to be tough. We'll probably list it at that 370 we first thought, but obviously the market has spoken. That 360 is probably what they're going to lean on. The appraiser is going to lean on that, especially if it's upgraded. Now, the appraiser is going to say, well, how are you guys any different? This one just sold for 360, appraised at 360 FHA. So,
and what is the average days on the market right now for your listings?
I mean, right now it's not like crazy for our stuff to sit for like 20 to 40 days, honestly.
Oh, really?
Right.
So the market is still moving then?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's still moving. I'm not going to say it's super slow. I mean, we're just waiting longer. And I think we really got all spoiled with like 2021 where it was like, I need like 5 offers in the first 10 days or else this is like a bust. We priced it wrong. But in reality, I mean, before it was like, 2-3 months is kind of, average on the market, so that's why, the cash offer would be so advantageous sometimes for sellers. Cause you would say, well, hey, if you list it, it might take you a long time to sell. If you get a cash offer, we're going to, buy it much quicker. So I think traditionally, it usually does take longer. We've just been spoiled with how fast stuff has sold on the market. So yeah, right now, 20 to 40 days. Some of the stuff will sit for a couple months, 60, 65. It really just depends on the area. But it's especially surprising in like the lower price points. It's like, this should be moving way faster.
I mean, here's the thing. It almost seems a little scary to be flipping homes right now. Or you better make sure that your margins are so large where you can carry the property for some time.
Yeah.
Like I can't do what you're doing, dude. It would just drive me nuts because I'm constantly analyzing the market. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, it's kind of a, you always just have to keep a pulse on it, if that makes sense. And if you feel like things are slipping away, like back in 2022, I pivoted really fast. I wasn't doing like volume like a lot of other guys, but I still had a few flips and we were able to like pivot out. I think, that market ended up correcting quite a bit, probably 10 to 20%, I'd say, between, the high of mid 22 to the end of the year. And we were able to pivot out of it, pretty quick because I was like, okay, I see it dropping. I don't see that happening right now. What I see happening right now is interest rates, once again, are still in that like weird zone. We had the election, we had the end of the year. What we're going to start seeing is just naturally, it's probably going to still be slow moving here in the next month and a half, 2. Moving into next year, we're going to speed up again. It's going to be a hot market.
So typically, real estate, it's kind of like a roller coaster, right? Normally around end of February, that's when things like start to really ramp it up.
Right. I think people overreact. I mean, right now, everybody's like, man, I don't know if we should be like flipping. And it's a natural reaction to have when you're not really selling stuff. But, quite honestly, after every single, I think I saw a stat, after every single election, prices have gone up by like 5 to 10%, within the next 6 months. So it's like, I mean, I mean, I hope so because, I don't know if I told you this, but I took down a 6,000 square foot property up in Section 10. Nice.
I paid like 1.1 million to it. So probably put like 400 into it. At that time, my projected profits was probably like a 1.9 because the market kind of slowed down a couple months.
Right.
But after looking at the renderings and what we're doing to the property, like I'm pretty confident that I'll probably be at 2.2.
Yeah.
But I'm going to shoot for 2.3.
Right. No, 100%.
But the timing is perfect because we should be completed sometime in March. So hopefully we can get top dollar for the property. And we're also delivering a product nobody has. So hopefully it works out. But like you said, those are some pretty big gambles because if, on the luxury side, if it's not moving, these price reductions are not like $20,000. No. It's like $100,000, and you're really eating up into your profits like super fast.
100%. I mean, big risk, big reward on those luxury ones for sure. But
you know what? Cross my fingers and hopefully it works out.
I mean, you should be good. I mean, for you, I don't think you use hard money, right? So
no, we just go cash.
So and a little bit different.
Yeah, and I feel like the reason why I do that is because it's more of a safe play for me versus 100%. Like every single month, we're eating up money. We're also paying points. Like this kind of gives me the leverage where I can kind of breathe a little bit,
right,
and not like panic, like hurry up. So that's what I like about that,
right.
But also the problem is that when you only have so much cash, you also want to kind of, have some money on the sidelines. Because if
100%.
shit does happen, you want to be able to take that money and redeploy it and pick up even better deals. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not only that, there could be like another deal that comes along and I won't be able to take it down.
Right.
That's like, that could be a big problem. You know what I mean?
And that's my reasoning for doing a little different than you. For me, I'd rather have my cash on the sidelines and be able to eat at those. I understand that the hard money and, paying investors eats at that profit every month, but I'd rather have that money on the sidelines, pay that. And then when a good deal comes up, I'm not like, I'm tied up in, two deals. So a little bit different, obviously, for you. Your main source of income is obviously the real estate side, the realtor side. So it's a little different for us. It's the flipping side. So a little different investment strategy, but you can make it work either way.
So you're saying 2025, first quarter, we should start picking up. You're believing that the housing market should skyrocket.
Yeah, I'm loading up on properties we're buying right now. I want to buy good deals where I'm like, it's safe, but there's upside. So,
well, for somebody that's listening out there, right? When you say a good deal, because believe it or not, I get calls where a buyer like, hey, I want a great deal. I want a steal. I'm thinking about, rehabbing a property. I want to start off with what is a good deal? Like if somebody's getting started, like what's the margins should they be looking for to say this is actually a very good deal? It's a safe deal. If the market does slide back a little bit, I'm still in the comfort zone of, making a profit.
Right. No, 100%. For us, what we're typically looking for is we want to make at least, like on the lower price properties, at least 30,000 profit. And as the prices go up, 400s, 500s, we want to make closer to 10%. So it's not always going to be exactly 10% of the ARV. So 450, we'd like to get closer to 45, but sometimes we'll settle for 40, 38,000. That's kind of the numbers. So reverse engineering all of that with hard money, with paying closing costs, with paying, private lenders and stuff like that. Usually we need to be about $100,000 off of what you see us resell it for ARV wise.
So can you even get deals like that in today's market?
Absolutely. You just got to go in. You just got to go and find them. I think the biggest thing with like getting deals is like if you expect to, I want to steal like on the market, impossible, hard, very hard. I mean, we do MLS and we are not doing a ton of volume on there. We'll squeeze one a month maybe on the MLS. Most of our stuff is always going to be like pocket listings from realtors, direct to seller. That's where you get the best deals. And deals that actually work, because what happens on the market is when you get on the market, you start competing with guys or people, whoever
regular home buyers.
Yeah, they're regular buyers, and a lot of the times they might be cash buyers, but for them, they're not really looking for like a flip margin per se. Maybe they're just wealthy and they're looking to park some money, into
like a buy and hold
an asset or whatever, and they don't really care. So that's going to squeeze your flip margins. If you're a flipper, you need to be 100,000 off. Well, buy and hold investor, somebody that's just looking to park money, for them, maybe they can buy it like 70,000 off of ARV. They'll put 50 into it, and that 20K of equity, that's like a deal for them after all said and done. 10K of equity, they're like, cool, it is what it is. I parked the money. That's obviously not going to work. But if you're competing with the buyer in that regard, really, really tough. So the only way to really work it is work really motivated leads where, they are, they want your cash offer. They want to work with somebody that, they like and trust. And that's the best way to, get deals. At the end of the day, it's just providing value. It's simply, that's all it is. People want to say, oh, well, I mean, I want to get a good deal, but you're thinking of it from your side of things. Like, how do I get a good deal? Selfishly. For us, it's like, well, how can we provide so much value that the only thing that they can do is just give us a good deal, in return. So how do you provide value? You work with realtors, you prove yourself, and you show them like, hey, like your seller wants this, that we'll bend over backwards for your seller to get that done. All we ask in return is this price. That's it. Working with sellers, it's like, hey, we'll do this, that, or the other. We'll help you with, figuring out where you're going to move to. We're going to help with buying stuff as is and leaving stuff behind. Just a bunch of different stuff you could do to help a seller out. And in return, it's like, hey, this is where we need to be on price. And obviously sometimes it won't work. Not every seller is going to accept your price. Not every realtor is going to understand your margins. And that's why you can't, make a deal out of every property.
Yeah.
But that's how you go and find deals. You provide a lot of value, and you get good deals in return.
How many deals are you guys doing a month now?
We probably do around, right now, I mean, on a month-to-month basis, it varies, but
Let's just say from year to date, how many?
We'll probably close 90 to 95 deals this year.
Get the hell out of here. 95 transactions this year?
Yeah, between our assignments and our flips, we probably do about 45% flips, 55% assignments.
Damn. So on the assignment part, explain to everybody what that is.
Yeah, so on the assignment part is, my company, we flip and we wholesale. So a lot of the times realtor will be like, oh, we don't want to work with wholesalers. We don't think of ourselves as wholesalers. We are investors that wholesale every once in a while. And basically what a wholesale is you get a property under contract and then you sell that contract to another investor that can pay more potentially, and you make basically a spread or an assignment fee on it.
So why would that investor buy from you? Because at the end of the day, you're in the business to flip a property, right? To make a profit. If you didn't take it down, why would they take it down?
That's a great question. So a lot of flippers are like, well, why aren't you taking this one down?
Yeah.
What is there something? And there's no like secret to it. Like, oh, we don't like it. It really just depends on a case by case basis. For example, like I will never take down a fire damage property myself.
Yeah.
So if we get 2 to 3 to 4 fire damage properties per year, you can count on me not flipping it, simply because I don't want to deal with all the permitting and all this red tape that goes around it. But I have buyers on my list that absolutely love that stuff. They eat it up. They love fire damage because they realize they can buy it at a better margin, and they've got the systems and processes to kill it on fire damage deals. So that's one example. Another example is I don't love the neighborhood. For me, I want to B minus neighborhood. I know that I'm gonna have less break-ins there, and then I've got other people that are like, dude, I absolutely love that rougher neighborhood because I realize, that's what I'm good at. I actually live like down the street. That's, my kind of, my way to do it. So we like pick and choose what we want to flip. Essentially, I'm like, if it's easy, if I feel like it's going to, not require too much from me and from the team, we'll flip it. Sometimes we'll wholesale other stuff. We do probably around 7 to 10 deals. We're in Pahrump. I don't do stuff in Pahrump.
Yeah.
But I've got 4 or 5 buyers that are killing it in Pahrump. One guy that lives out there absolutely crushes manufactured homes in Pahrump. So boom, that's, a few wholesale deals right there that we'll do. So
I think another thing that's also important is that the margins for you may not work, but it may work for a different investor.
Right.
You may want a 20% return, and you're not getting the 20% return. It could be 15, and you're like, it's not worth our time.
Right.
That investor may say, dude, I'll take it all day long.
100%.
Makes sense, right?
That's really the biggest thing to it. It's like their numbers are just different. For me, like we spoke about, we'll do hard money a lot of the times. Our hard money is cheap. I mean, we'll do probably 9.5 and a point. So not crazy. I mean, not the cheapest, but it's not too expensive. But there's other guys that will take it down cash. So automatically that's a margin right there that they could overpay us on hard money. What about profit? Like exactly, I want this profit, but another investor is willing to take this much profit. All of a sudden that's a little bit more margin that they could pay over. And another aspect is construction. Some of these guys have in-house construction crews. They literally will do the job at cost, where I will pay a GC. Yeah, I have it at a GC at a good price because we do a lot of business, et cetera, et cetera. But that GC is still not going to work for free. Meanwhile, with these guys, a lot of the time, they are the GC with the construction company.
Yeah.
They pay the subs. They save anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 on a project. That's another way to make the margin. So add all of those things up, and sometimes guys can pay 10, 15, 25,000 more than us. And if we got that deal at that price, why not just take that assignment and move on to another one where, maybe a lot of the times we'll get it just thin enough for us to make, for it to make sense, where other investors are like seeing the same thing kind of. And they're like, oh, well, I could pay 5,000 more. But I'm like, why would I do that if I can go and, flip it and make, 25,000.
What is your average assignment fee?
I think our average assignment fee is right around like 15,000.
15,000?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you're just clipping checks.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit.
So how hard is it to get into something like that?
I mean, I think everything is, hard. It just takes a lot of work. I mean, for me, I've been doing this for 5 years now. I started off just by myself, which just slowly build up. I've got a small team now. In office. We've got an office here in town, and there's
that's amazing.
Rolling deals.
So you got an office in town. You got a team of 5. So you're part of the 5, correct?
I am part of the 5. Yeah, I'm super involved in the business. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm like just the owner." I'm super involved. I'm in there with the guys. I'll go to appointments. You'll always see me at houses.
So scaling up and building out your team, what's the other 4 people, and what are their roles?
Well, we've got 3 acquisitions guys besides me. I'll usually run all the back end as far as just making sure. I should probably get a transaction coordinator or something, but at the end of the day, I roll all of our transactions. I like to be involved. I want to make sure that everything is, in good shape. And we're not doing crazy volume where we're doing like 30 a month to where it's like impossible to manage.
Yeah.
I've got a project manager who's my dad. He helps out a lot on, the project. I'll still oversee the general, rehab budgets and stuff like that, making sure checks get cut, but he does a lot of that workload. We've got a realtor in house. She sells all of our properties on the back end. And then, like I said, the acquisitions guys basically handle all of our leads, and they vet them, they make sure, and I just kind of make that executive decision at the end of that. We'll for sure move that, or, hey, we're not going to even touch that.
How do you keep the acquisition guys motivated to constantly make these calls and doing the follow-ups?
I think for them, it's just making them feel like they are, important. And they are super important to the business. They've helped us, help me scale tremendously within the past couple of years. I had one guy that was with me for 18 months. He grew a lot. He actually just quit. But he was making really, really good money with us, and he wanted to go off, do his own thing, which is, great. But, I basically told my other acquisition guys who were my junior guys, I was like, you guys have a growth opportunity. This guy just left. You guys saw the money he was making. It's time for you guys to step up. Whoever can step up, there's obviously market share there. You guys saw what's possible. We're only going up from here. And obviously that keeps him motivated.
So did he end up starting his own company, or he went to go work with somebody?
No, I think he ended up starting his own company. Yeah.
Okay. Because he's seen the potential there, and, he was like, hey, I'm going to bounce. However, believe it or not, that's actually a really good thing. That speaks volume as a team leader. When you have somebody says, hey, you know what? I've been with you a couple years. I've decided that, hey, I'm going to go do my own thing.
Yep.
That means you are doing the right thing. Because
For sure.
not everybody is gonna stay with you forever, dude.
For sure.
And the ones that leave and they go start their own career, that means you did them a good service. So
For sure.
Good job on that.
For sure. Yeah, I think I was always kind of worried a little bit about, oh, well, what if I teach this guy everything and then he leaves me or whatever. But what I've came to find out is just like, well, what if you don't teach him everything and they stay?
Exactly.
At that point, they're doing no good, and you're just kind of keeping them around for, with this guy, he was able to obviously learn a lot, helped, me make a lot of money, helped himself make a lot of money, helped the company make a lot of money, and he moved on. So, I would have loved it if he would have stayed, but, he ended up leaving. Now I've got other guys that are stepping up, and, I'm like, hey, you guys got a great opportunity here. There's a lot of market share. There's a lot of money to be made, and I try to keep it fun. We've got like foosball and, basketball stuff and ping pong at the office. Like, we're a young group.
Like the environment then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the environment. I mean, we've got music playing all the time. Like, for me, I'm relaxed. We come in at 10, we leave at 5. So it's like, we only work 7 hours a day. Like, keep it chill.
Like, how many calls are these guys actually making every single day?
I mean, they're on the phone all day. So
really,
they're working with a lot of agents. They text. They'll go out to appointments. They do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I think I've got a couple of texts from you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, man. When a wholesaler contacts me or texts me, I'm like, dude, I'm not even doing a deal with you. Like, I don't know what it is as an agent. It's just like, I don't want to sound like a scumbag, but it's just like, I can't even fuck with you right now. I've got a lot of shit going on. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it's, if they're always like, hey man, you find me a deal, we could do a deal together. But it's like, if I find a great deal, I'm doing the deal.
100%. 100%.
Because I'm in that, situation where I have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that are flipping homes, right? Still?
Right.
Or have you seen that kind of slow down a little bit?
I mean, as far as like, people are more cautious right now.
Because there's only a few major players here. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few, but there's only a few major that are doing like volume.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to go to like the materials and supplies. Are you changing those up as well? As far as like, the countertops, white shaker cabinets. Are you changing the style up a little bit, or are you just kind of leaving it all the same?
We try to keep it fresh on every deal for the most part. Like we'll throw in something new. Our agent actually, she like steps in to help pick some of the materials and stuff like that for all her stuff, because she's like, oh yeah, this is gonna sell well. Let's switch this up. Switch that up. Kind of takes that off my plate a little bit.
I think that's very important, because the agent also has a gauge of what buyers are looking for.
For sure. She's the one that gets the feedback.
Yeah. And depending
on
on the price point, obviously you want to go overboard, right?
right.
So do you just kind of like give her like a budget and say, hey, look, this is our target budget for the cost of the materials? Like, how does that work?
I mean, overall, if I'm like, hey, pick out the materials for this one, she'll send me stuff, and then I'm like, I'm not paying $20 a square foot for this tile like that. Then this one's got to go, and then we'll swap it out. But overall, I mean, I'm pretty flexible as far as like our finishes and stuff like that, because I realize like, okay, if we might overpay by like $1,000 for like in total for tile on this one, but
you'll get your money back.
We'll get our money back. It is what it is. Like, this one's going to be nice, where we'll underpay, on another one. And I'll usually give myself like a tile, finishes budget on all of our stuff. So as long as we fit into that, it's fine.
So what are these turnaround times for a property?
About like 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, so it's not that bad. You kind of just going in and out. And are you guys already like pre-marketing these homes, or you guys wait until it's actually finished?
Yeah, we're just waiting until it's actually finished, and then it goes in there fresh, vacant. I mean, a lot of the times when it's vacant, ready to go, like, it's just sells quicker. That's why flips are. Yeah. That's why agents love showing flips, because they don't have to do the showing time and all that. So once it's ready, it hits the market. We're like, hey, newly remodeled home, it's ready to go, and go show it as you please. And agents just kind of go in there and do their thing. Yeah,
our last flip, we had it on the market, and it wasn't done yet. But I had like all the samples of all the material.
Right.
I think I messed up on this one, because I probably had to show the property like 15 times.
Right.
And they're like, we love the property. We love the concept of what's going on. But we physically have to see the quality work when it's done. Right. And I realized, dude, I wasted so much time.
100%.
Because my goal was to sell it before it even hit the market. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just realized it's just better to finish this thing and put it on the market with fresh photos. Everybody can see, touch, and feel. And we literally sold that one. We sold $100,000 over, which is kind of crazy to me. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Somebody actually gave us $100,000 more.
Yeah.
But
I think the pre-marketing is really only valuable if you could pre-sell it and customize it for that buyer. You know what I mean? If you lock in that buyer already with like, oh my God, like, I love what your concept is, I just want to pick my own finishes, that's when it's valuable, because it's like, okay, well, I've got this set buyer. It's just, the flip's done. Now we just need to execute on getting the construction
we thought
finished.
about that at one point, but the problem with that is, what happens is the shit that they pick is crap and the deal falls apart.
Right.
Now you're stuck with some sort of crappy ass product.
Right. And if you're doing like a multi-million, it might be a little tougher. Yeah. Or you've got to, have them put down a crazy EMD to where it's like they're not going to walk. And if they do walk, then you've got some margin to figure it out.
The problem with that is, I notice, even though that you put down a large earnest money deposit, title will not release that money to you. Okay. Right. Because if they cancel, they can request for the EMD back or if they breach the contract, money doesn't get released to you until both parties sign another agreement from the title company, because it's a liability to the title company,
right? Saying
that, hey, we will release this, which is a lot of people are not even aware of it, which is kind of baffling. So that's the reason why we just never went that route. I don't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
No, for sure.
Doesn't make any sense. But no,
if the EMD's hard, you can also always have them release it immediately.
Oh yeah,
100%. And that way you are touching and feeling money. And you could always say, hey, you're going to put down 200K EMD.
Mm-hmm.
You'll release it immediately, and we'll start working on the finishes until we finish. It's a risky thing, obviously, because then they're like, oh, I don't really like the way you installed it, and I would stay away from it. I'm just some ideas.
I just feel like you're going to open up a can of worms.
Exactly.
Versus
not worth
what
it.
You see is what you get.
You like it or you don't like it. You tell me.
Exactly.
Yep, 100%.
And let's see, what else do we need to talk about? Did I forget anything that we need to cover?
I think for the most part we covered everything. I mean, I think let's in 6 months time, right? What is it? It's October 6th or November 6th. Let's see how the market is in next April, May. I'm telling you, it's gonna be hot.
Is this your prediction?
My prediction, give me like 4 months. I think we're gonna start heating up in like March for sure.
Dude, we're literally up almost 7% year to date.
No, it's gonna be even hotter. I think we're moving in. I don't know if it's gonna be sustainably hot like for foreseeable future, but I think in the next 4 or 5 months we're gonna start seeing a lot of action. Stock market up, everything up, just simply because election's over. Fresh start, whether you like it or not, doesn't really matter. That's not what I'm talking about. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, I think that's what's gonna happen. People have a certainty now. There's a lot of uncertainty before.
Well, now we have a certainty for another 4 more years. So, people can, start all over.
Yep.
Feel good. But I really do hope people do spend some money, dude.
No, I think they will.
But honestly, with Vegas, it's still growing. It's still one of the cheapest areas to live. A lot of people are moving out here. There's so much money that's pouring in here. I feel like we have another like 20 to 25 more years until this place is overpopulated. And I think there's just such a small window of opportunity.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, bro, you're going to literally be bought out. Like, there's no way you can even get into a home. It's going to be like California pricing.
100%.
You know what
I mean, the biggest thing here in Vegas is the lack of land. Yeah. Everything's owned by BLM, the Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah.
So it's owned by the state. So they sell it off a little bit at a time. But at one point, they're going to start getting into like Red Rock and like all that. Like that stuff is not, you can't touch that. So you can't build up into the mountains everywhere. So at one point, there's a couple options. Either they're going to start going vertical, New York City, aka stuff like that. Start building like high-rise condos, or stuff's just gonna get really expensive. Like minimum, you're gonna be spending $600,000-700,000 for like 1,000 square foot 3-bed 2-bath.
Which is insane. Now, do you have some sort of like coaching program or anything?
No, I don't have a coaching program. For me, it's like let's do deals. So if somebody is interested, I mean, I'm always maybe at one point, but right now it's like, hey, reach out to me. Let's figure out how we can do some deals together. Yeah. How I can help you out, how, contractors, just anybody that can fit into what we're doing. I'm always open to, chatting with them and seeing how we can do business.
Now, if somebody wants to follow you, what's the best way to
Instagram's the best. I'm pretty active there. So it's TheVladPlot, TheVladPlot. And then my company's at Plot Property Group. That's more just, we post, our flips and stuff like that. But me personally, I post a ton of my socials.
Cool. Hey, man, I do appreciate you coming on the show, taking your time. It really means a lot to me. And we definitely got to do some sort of collaboration outside of this podcast.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's go do some new stuff for sure.
Maybe we could tour some of your flip properties. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good, man. I appreciate you.
Cool. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.